Hello, my darlings. Madam Raven here with another collected tale from Gelfwyn. This is part 6, entitled The Sleeping Child. I called the number and reached a voicemail, left a message and started waiting. While I waited, I did more research. Broken Hill had a stream that originated from it. Tiny, unnamed, it twisted between two fields before reaching Mackey Creek, which in turn wound its way to the river. In fact, it bored into the offshoot that housed Witch's Cauldron. Was there a connection between the hill no one would claim and the land no one wanted to live on? My research found another unclaimed region, a large island between the main river and the offshoot that held the cauldron. Nothing seemed to be on it but woods, and with spring floods, maybe it wasn't useful. Or Granny Tansy was right, and no sane person would live near that area again. I came home to a strange car in the driveway, and the deputy sitting on my porch step turning a stick into wood shavings. He smelled of whiskey and looked like he would rather be anywhere rather than here. "You've been asking a lot of questions and spending a lot of time with that old woman." He didn't look up from the branch. Snick, snick, snick. The small knife flashed, and a golden wood flake would fall into the pile on the ground. "I'm trying to collect local legends, myths, stories that are told one generation to the next." "And you went looking for that cursed hill?" I sat down on the far side of the step. "I don't know. What I found was a weird poem written all along the path, and a child your sheriff seems to not want to think about." "You didn't find a kid." Snick. The next flake was heavy enough to scatter the pile a bit. "There's never a kid. The little girl curled up asleep, the boy with his dog, the girl carrying wildflowers, the baby. They're never there." He tossed the branch as far as he could, folded the knife back up, and ran a hand through his hair. "I'll warn you now. You are walking into a spider's web. Invite me in and I'll tell you what I know about the spider. Tell me good night and walk away. Find someplace else with pretty stories to tell. I'll make us some coffee. I think I already hit that web." I thought of the coins and the glass ring. So there was an old woman with too many kids. Lots of old women, lots of old men, lots of kids not where they should be. He stood and stretched before coming inside. I had a feeling he was hoping for a different outcome, not to have to cut open the wound I could see festering on his soul. He sat at the table while I started coffee. No warning, no lead-in. He just started talking. "I'm one of 2 trained pilots for the helicopter. Mostly we look for lost tourists, check no fires left unattended, look for pot fields. When I took my first flight up, I was told not to go over the island, the one between the cauldron and the river. So guess where the first place I headed was? Expected some woods. Maybe a hunter's cabin. Found a field. It was early April. Fields were plowed but not planted. Ground was too cold. So when I saw a field with knee-high corn green as grass, I had to turn for a closer look. Downdraft made the corn ripple and wave and reveal a sleeping child. Boy, girl, couldn't much tell. Maybe 4 or 5 curled up asleep. Red t-shirt, blue jeans that had probably been passed down through several kids before. She woke up when the noise got closer. sitting up and looking at me. Brown-haired, bit longish for a boy, but not too weird round here. I didn't trust setting the helicopter down in a fresh field. Dirt would be too soft. Found a place a bit away. Raced towards that field, carrying a first aid kit and my lunch. Kid had to have gotten stranded there, probably scared and starving. He looked at the coffee and then gulped the hot liquid down with a grimace. The first thing I thought was penance, burning himself for what? I found the field with soybeans, or had been, just snow-dusted stubble. Only we hadn't had snow in 2 months by then. Not a stalk of new corn to be seen, and no child. I ran around that damn field for hours. I came back to the base, and the former sheriff didn't even let me in the door. Took me out back to the shooting range, handed me a flask and told me to drink. Then sat down and asked why I didn't listen. Why I had to go looking. Why the hell did I have to find the field and what was growing in it? I downed about half the flask before I could speak. Answered new corn and soybean stubble. He nodded and said, I ever saw winter wheat just high enough to hide a rabbit. Close my eyes and count to 50. Just trust I was going straight. He knew I'd keep looking. He couldn't stop me, but again he told me winter wheat was something I should pray I never saw. I asked what he knew. What the hell was that field? The old sheriff just said it was a wrong place where people went to hide their sins. It stopped belonging to people. It belonged to the devil, and God had removed it for a reason. Only it kept flickering back into place. Every year I go back. Sometimes a crop is too tall for me to see a kid. Sometimes it's more than one kid. I thought they were bait, meant to lure me back down to the ground and into the field. Once it was 3. 2 young girls and a baby. I wanted to go to them so bad, but I knew there would never be anyone in that damn field. I'd never reach the field at the right time. 17 years now. 17 fields. 17 crops. Last spring it was winter wheat. Barely enough for Cottontail to hunker down and hide. He shuddered and tears were rolling down his cheeks. It was a little girl. It was the little girl you took a picture of on the trail. That blue shirt with the snowman. She wasn't sleeping. She wasn't standing. His fist hit the table hard, making the cups leap and tumble. Someone had driven 2 fence posts and hung that baby between them. When I first saw it, I thought she might be alive. Then I turned the helicopter about and saw what someone had done to her. Saw the bloody mess they had made of her. Someone killed that baby girl. Then I saw the posts. All the kids. Someone killed all those kids. He collapsed onto the table. I went and found the mason jar of clear liquid that Granny Tansy had given me a few weeks back. Poured a generous amount in the coffee and pushed it into his hand. He gulped it down. I'm a deputy because I want to protect. I'm a father, a grandfather. And I can't even tell anyone what I know because no one will believe me. Not till they've seen it for themselves. Those kids in your pictures, I've seen them all. Every one of them strung up between fence posts in that field. I could do nothing for the man. I could do nothing for myself. Granny Tansy knows, doesn't she? So quoth this raven. my darlings, if you enjoy these, please like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you know when to come back and see me. And leave a comment for me or for Gelfwyn. She is an amazing author who is being discovered by other narrators. Uncle Ulrich is taking up reading the tales as well, so if you want to hear it in a male voice, look him up. And of course, Dr. Creepin's read some of her stuff before as well. Thank you, my darlings, and I will see you next time.